activity has damaged the Canadian-U.S. research facilities. A landslide exposed the interior, and enemy forces are being deployed to secure it.
Hey folks, lovely to see you. We're back. Season 1 is here. It's out and you can play it right now. Hope you're having fun already, getting to explore our new map and playing with all our new shiny toys. Today I'm here with senior producer Ryan MacArthur and producers Nika Bender and Alexia Christofi to hang out, talk about how it is we built this season and what to expect with our next updates. Naturally, we've got lots of things to be keeping our eyes on and plenty more work to be getting on with. So we're not live. We recorded this a few days ago. But you'll see myself and the team in the chat here, so do say hello, and we'll be helping to answer questions throughout. But folks, lovely to see you all. Lots of hard work naturally has gone into building this season. And of course, this is possibly the longest we've gone since launching a Battlefield game and getting season content in the hands of our players. But how are we feeling about it? Are we excited?
I'm excited. I mean, I hope the rest of you guys are, but this has been a long time coming, and I think, I don't know, you ask the players out there, I'm hoping they're excited, but I know the team in here is super excited for today. They've been waiting a long time to get this out there and get this content in the hands of our players. So it's a big day here, I think.
It's a big day for us.
I think being the first season, I'm equally terrified and excited because, it is the first one. And I know there's been a lot of thought and passion and time being put into this season to, build something that our players would like to play. I think that's where the terrifying part comes, like waiting for the reviews and for the feedback from the players. But we're looking forward to it. Yeah,
we spend so much time play testing it, of course, Alexia. Is it now going to feel strange seeing other people playing it and going, uh-oh, what's happened here? Wow, I thought this was just for us.
Absolutely, but it's also going to be, awesome to see the different things people do. The great thing about Battlefield games is you get these only in Battlefield moments that you see that, things we wouldn't have even thought would happen. I know it's been a while, Season 1 got delayed, but I think we did it for the right reasons, and we really wanted to make sure that it was as high quality as possible and that we spent that time to really refine it. And we've made a bunch of great fixes along the way as well, so I'm hoping it was worth it.
Yeah, and obviously we got to catch up a couple of weeks ago with Lars, Ryan. We sat down to talk about all the improvements that we've been making to the game. There's obviously a lot more in this update, so do check out the patch notes over on the Battlefield website. But one of the things obviously we've heard since then, Ryan, is that players have been telling us that they feel a bit disappointed perhaps that when it comes to this new season, we've got a new specialist, we've got a couple new weapons, new vehicles, but comparatively it feels less than what we've done in the past. So talk to us a little bit about why that is and how we're still confident this is a really awesome season for players to jump in and play.
Yeah, I think as we sat back after launch and had a really hard look at the game and where we were and how we got there and really got back to what I think we've done best here at DICE, and I think Battlefield in general and all the teams that have worked on this is just really listening to the players and what is it that they want from a Battlefield game. And the key for us to get to where we wanted to be was getting the quality to the level it needs to be for our players. And so that's the direction we took with our players, or with our sort of process around Season 1 and getting it there. And so the key for us was to make sure anything we built was at the level it needs to be at for a Battlefield game to be what it needs to be. And I think, it is less, and I can understand where that feedback comes from players, but it's really good. It's really good content. The map is probably the best map, I think, in the game. The weapons play great. The battle pass looks amazing. All of the new helicopters and everything comes together in a package really well. I can't express how proud I am of this team and what they've done to get there. And I know we talked about it with Lars the other week. And I think that's kind of that focus that we took. And I think that's been the most important thing, is make sure that what we give our players is the best we can give them. And to get there, we had to make that hard decision to delay the season and focus on getting the game to where it needed to be, as opposed to just making new content. It had to be the right stuff for the right reasons and fix the right things. And I think we've made some really big steps, and we've got some more to make, but we're going to keep going.
I think you pushed us quite a lot to make sure we were not in a bad way, but every conversation we had was about, are we focusing on quality? Are we making sure that what we're sending out to the players is the best it can be? Battle Pass is a really good example of that. It took us a few iterations to make it feel really great, and to constantly be thinking about quality, I think, is the reason that we've got to a season that we're all super proud of, that we can sit here and confidently say that we're excited for people to play it. So, yeah.
I think that's the whole point. We actually had the time to do the polishing phase, as we like to call it, in game development. Something that you need time, because you're going to play test, and then you're going to feedback, and then you're going to adjust, and then you're going to play test again, and you're going to feedback again, and then you're going to continue. And we did a lot of those feedback loops to get things to the. I think what we think it's the best way possible for our players.
And I think they're going to feel it. I think they are. I mean, we hope. I mean, I want to say we hope they are, but I think they're going to feel it. I think this is going to show the signs that they were expecting from this game, and we're just going to keep going forward with the next season and the next updates, and just keep making the game better.
I mean, Exposure is definitely one of my favourite maps that we probably ever made. And it's cheeky, obviously, because we all have the luxury of getting to play all this stuff for ourselves for so long. But I genuinely do love Exposure. Let's talk about this new map then. And yeah, I've got 200 crowns, by the way, if we can go this entire thing without calling it by its code name. We suck at doing that. We're not very good at doing that.
It's been so long.
So, Exposure. Ryan, it's set in Canada. Be honest with me. How much influence did you have on this one?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's one of those good things. I mean, sometimes being a senior producer has its perks. And it's really hard to argue with Canada being such a great place. Then, I mean, I think it just kind of writes itself. But in all seriousness, I agree with you. I think it is probably, it's like, ignoring the fact that I'm from Canada, I think it is the best map in the game. It's just such, from a visual perspective, from a gameplay perspective, is so different. And I really think players are going to love it. I know we have a ton of fun playing it in playtests.
With our playtests, obviously, we spend a lot of time testing all of our layouts, so you can play the game, obviously, Breakthrough and Conquest, and we've got the two layouts on Conquest 64 and 128. Like, how tough has it been to have first built this map, but then actually decide where it is we're going to play on it? In Breakthrough, we take, obviously, a somewhat linear approach, which builds this fantastic final assault on the control rooms we have built into these mountains. Like Nika, talk us through it. Like, how do you start that journey of, I've got a map, how do we decide where it is we get players to play?
So I know the thing is, we have, I would say, some understanding. How do we want for the map to play? And with the season 1 map, we had the luxury of actually getting the players' feedback from the launch, so we could actually incorporate in during the production. And I would say there's been a lot of adjustments during production, especially in I would say what we like out of finaling the last period of the map production. I think it will be seen how the map plays. I think for both Conquest, I mean, I played both 64 and 128. They play slightly differently, of course, but I do think this map works great on both, because I do love the chaos. We have this whole verticality. There is this different areas of map that play differently. You have the close quarter combat, then you have this whole zip line and like the ability to kind of go on top and shoot people on which yes, of course I do. I do like sniping, and I do like to play with the new specialist. So I think that the players will probably like it. I'm hoping so.
Yeah, but it is important for us to get that mix right, Ryan, because obviously we've took an approach with our, initial offering of maps that we'll talk about as we go on through the stream. We're obviously doing some work on some of those original ones to update them, but this really does have a good mixture of having good vehicle play, really good CQC play. Like, that was a really big learning we took from 2042. If we're missing some of that space, is like, have the team deliberately set out to create that with this map?
We started this map before we launched the game, right? So, I mean, a lot of it we took, some of the decisions we made. But one of the reasons this map is so different than the launch maps is the great thing about a live service is that we can take a lot more risks, I think, with some of these maps. That we can sort of go after a specific feeling and a specific way we want to play. That, and with the extra time and the learnings and the player feedback we kind of got to combine all those things together to deliver something really special, right? So I think, as you say, the vehicle play has been good in 2042, but we're missing that close quarters combat experience like we have in the past. And I think the team can take that, and you can really see that kind of come through and shine through in this game, in this particular map. And I think our ability to do that and make those tweaks and take that player feedback, as well as take some more risks and be a little bit more adventurous with the live maps, really allows us to kind of create really special offerings when we get it right. And I think this one gets it right.
Yeah, and there's lots of cool details in it, Alexia. Like, what's been your favourite parts that you've discovered when you're playing it?
There's like a certain point on the map when you're kind of inside that main building with all the server rooms around you, and there's a point with a kind of tunnel into the mountain, from the mountain, sorry. And I've been having a lot of fun sort of playing with the team, but sometimes when I'm testing certain things, I'm playing on my own against AI, and there's like a point where you just see everyone coming over that mountainside and you're trying to get at them, and you don't get that same experience when you're playing with live people. It's a lot more fluid, so it's really fun to kind of try and anticipate where people are coming from and where they're going. So that part of that map, when you kind of see out on the side of the mountain through the tunnel, is just such a fun place to play.
We were chatting about this at the start, Nika. You were telling me about something you happened to be doing a lot of during playtests that suddenly became a learning for us that changed our art for the level.
Yes, so as a producer, you do think like, oh, you have a lot of decision power. I mean, you do, but you really don't. Those are the details that you don't really, you don't really go in. That have designers and the artists that are making those decisions. So during the playtest, there's you will notice there is this dead end road which I kept going and trying to fall off the cliff. Until during one playtest, someone was like, maybe we should put a sign. So guess what? There's a sign now. It's a dead end.
Come on, Nika.
Nika, turn around, go back.
Not today.
But I mean, obviously the map is a massive new addition for us to have in the game, but also a brand new specialist. Evelina Lis from Poland. Nika, how much fun has it been to build this first new specialist?
I'm really biased. I'm originally from Croatia, and Lis is Polish, and there's, I would say, a lot of personal feelings about it. She is really, I like to call her badass. She is to me, one of the badass characters. I know we have the challenge of her gadget, which is a TV-guided missile, combined with the C5 rocket launcher. One thing we realized during the playtest that's in the hands of very skilled players, it doesn't really work well in the balance of the game. So pretty much they would become OP. So that was, I think, one of the interesting learnings we had during the production. We were like, okay, I think we need to adjust that. So she's one of the specialists where you can't combine those two because of that reason. So if you're wondering why it happened, it was pretty much from the learning we got during the internal playtests.
Yeah, but she's got an awesome story, which you can read about over on the Battlefield website, and some really awesome cosmetics in the Battle Pass, which we'll get to chat about later. But let's talk more about that TV-guided missile, because, it's made its return, really, for us in Battlefield. We've had TV-guided missiles in the past, usually part of vehicles, but for the very first time, we've actually put it onto infantry. What have we took as learnings from the past of Battlefield games? Because, we've had things like the UCAV in Battlefield 4 in the past, which, is fun, but it turns into things players can kind of get a bit cheesy with. It doesn't start to feel fun after a while. Like, what learnings have we took from that, Ryan, to help make sure that the TV-guided missile is fun to use and is balanced?
We talk about this a lot, and we get asked about this a lot with the specialists in particular. Like the goal there is to kind of create more flexibility, more freedom. Sometimes what we learn is some of that freedom is sometimes in the hands of our players, who are at times way smarter than us and what they can do with this game. We create situations where too much freedom, and so it's how do we make sure that we can provide this experience for Lis to make sure the TV guided missile, that is sort of that anchor for her. That's kind of what really lets her stand out from the rest of the specialist crew. And so how do we make sure that that's balanced? So I think, as Nika said, making that hard decision that we have to restrict some of the gadgets that she has access to make sure that she's fun to play with. She offers that level of skill, but also works well as a team player as opposed to just a sort of lone wolf one woman show in this case.
Yeah. But lots of iteration again, same as with the map. Like we learned a lot in our playtests when we're getting to use it. So little things like the boost, little things like the actual impact of the missiles. Like how long does it kind of take for us to get from that point of inception of we think we have a good idea to this is fun?
It varies, but it can take months because you build a prototype, you test it, okay, feels good, you start adding additional details, you start testing the design, you start testing it. Like I think the most important thing is so you try to get things in the software as soon as possible. So I think it's usually good if it gets faster if you can reuse some of the things just because you have them already, you have to build them from scratch. But then from the moment where things are in software until they're ready for the players, based on the feedback, that can be months. And the thing is, with the TMI missile, one of the feedbacks that we got, we thought we are good. It's like, no, it feels good. But then one of the feedback we got, that it's really like the feedback on the impact and the feedback on the TV guide is like, okay, the feeling like, okay, I'm doing the boost. They're like, it felt off. And it took a lot of, I would say, back and forth and talking to designers and kind of like understanding what the feedback is and what are the right tweaks that actually gives you the right experience. That actually took some time.
Yeah, and I think you see this, and this is sort of one of the big changes that we made as a team after the launch of this game was really get back to what makes this game special, what makes Battlefield special, and it's that extra level of quality, and I think you see it in, as Nika says, with the work that the team has done with Liz, but also the work that Alexia and her team has done with things like the Battle Pass and those experiences within the game, make sure everything is at that quality level that we need to hit. That's why players love this game, and we need to make sure that we're giving it to them in everything we give to them.
Yeah, and as well as the gadget, of course, brand new traits that we've added into the game. We've obviously had a lot of different traits that do different forms of spotting. We've learned a lot, obviously, from all of that as we've gone through the last several months. This one works specifically, though, on vehicles, but again, we've worked to balance it. So our trait Armor Hunter, this works only on damaged or hacked vehicles. Is that right, Nika?
That is correct. So pretty much you will, as soon as the vehicles around you is damaged, it will pretty much be highlighted on the screen for you. So you will see the vehicles. Pretty much, I'm not going to lie, if there's a lot, it can get very messy sometimes because you see all the vehicles highlighted that has whatever damage. But it's really helpful because with her TV guided missile, which is another thing that we also had to tweak, and I would like to mention because as being this, working on the season 1, I played a lot with Liz and tried to work with the team, who's been really amazing. How can we get it to the level that Ryan said, level of quality that we want to? It was the damage that actually the TV missile does to the vehicle. So we also played, what feels the right amount of damage concerning the balance of the game and the other gadgets and the other weapons that you have in the game. And I'm going to tell you something, it's a tricky one.
Make sure that you're telling your teammates as well where these vehicles are, because these things will only show up for Liz, so make sure you're communicating and pinging.
That's correct.
We need you guys to help out with that. Right. Brand new vehicles, though. We've added 2 new choppers, the Huron, the Hannibal. We've got lots of choppers already in the game, but what's setting these two apart, Ryan?
Well, I think it's the fact that they look awesome. But I think one of the things we really wanted to make when we sat down and had the inception idea for season 1 was, one of the big things for the game is, after working on BF5 and stuff, is that helicopters are kind of, they're sort of back in a big way in this game, and we want to really kind of make them stand out. And I think, what hadn't we done? And we sort of ended up with this. The team came up with the idea of bringing in stealth helicopters, and I think it's that sort of level of nuance for vehicle play to add that new element to the game. Also, it creates that sort of dynamic of punch counter punch, or as we look at Liz and these stealth helicopters is sort of the idea we talked about is David versus Goliath kind of thing, and to sort of create that. And I think that they really do that together as a package combined that I think is really special.
Yeah, and Alexia, we've talked already about this specialist. Now these helicopters, it's really important for us to highlight these items are in our battle pass, but they're on our free tiers. It's important for us to make sure that no matter how it is you're coming to play Battlefield 2042, everyone has the opportunity to get this hardware and everyone has the opportunity to use it.
Yeah, so the Battle Pass is made up of 100 tiers worth of content, and 30 of those tiers are free tiers and available for everyone to unlock. So any gameplay item, any vehicle, any weapon, any specialist are all on free tiers, so everyone will have access to that all the time.
Yeah, and these helicopters, like Ryan was talking about it there, Nika, stealth. That sounds like a new gameplay mechanic. When we say stealth helicopter, what does that mean for players when they're playing with them in the game?
So, because it seems like I love to share some of the insights into how we got where we are now. That was the first question we actually asked when we realized. We were like, oh, we want to stealth helicopters. Okay, what does that mean? And, because the thing is, it sounds cool, right? But then how do you, as a player, the player experience, like how do you translate that? So I would say the first thing is you can change between two modes. You have a stealth mode and you have a stealth mode. So guess what? When you're stealth mode, you can't be targeted. And of course you can't be seen on the radar because stealth. And I think the interesting thing is also you have two different types of weapons, and also visually you can in the HUD you can see that there is a difference that you are in the attack mode or if you're in a stealth mode.
We've obviously done a lot of moving things around as well in terms of our vehicle balance, changing the vehicle pools, changing which categories the vehicles pick up. Like, are we happy now with where we kind of are with the balance, Ryan?
Yeah, I think we are. I think we've taken a lot of feedback from the players. I think we're seeing. Again, as we add more stuff to the game, there's always going to be areas we can improve. But I think the game is getting to where we want it to be, and the balance is getting to a place where we're quite happy with it. Okay,
and we've got new weapons as well in this update. We've got a new crossbow, which is super fun, and we've got a new sort of semi-DMR marksman-esque rifle. Both of these kind of fitting into more of a theme here of being things you can also use quite stealthily. So talk us through these. Where do we see these things fitting into our arsenal, Nika?
So I would say the crossbow I find it interesting for the more skilled players because it requires a certain level of skill to use it really good. It has different types of bolts. So you have the light bolts, and then you can shoot faster, and then you have the heavy bolts which do more damage, but then they shoot much slower. But also in addition, you can unlock my favorite ones because they blow things up. It's the explosive bolt, which you do quite a lot of damage, both on the vehicles as well as on the other characters. And then I would say that there's a difference with the sniper rifle, where that one, as the name says, it's really good to snipe people from far away. And it is my favorite weapon in the game. I know.
Don't play with Nika.
No, everyone hates me. I'm very sorry.
This one.
And obviously lots of new cosmetics coming into the game. We've obviously had lots of opportunity to share, of course, some of these through our early weekly missions that we've done to get us to this point, but now we've got them layered into our Battle Pass quite heavily. We've also got a store coming in, though, as well, Ryan. And we've approached this differently to how we did in Battlefield 5, but obviously took a lot of learnings from it. Yeah. But one of the key differences that we have for this store versus what we've done in the past is that we haven't gone with a grind currency. We've kept a lot of our progression and ways to earn through the Battle Pass, but talk us through that process of how we got to the store.
Yeah, when we've looked at it, we learned a lot from BF5. I think that was sort of the first time we'd really done the sort of full store thing in the Battlefield game. And I think, when we got to towards the end of the time that we spent with that game, we saw that grind currency became kind of worthless. It wasn't valuable for players. It was confusing. Why can I buy this for grind currency and I can't buy that? And I think, one of the things that, I believe in, and I believe the team here believes in, is just, be clear of what we can do, what players can expect, what they can offer, try and be as transparent as we can. And so we ended up sort of making the decision to go with just a single currency. So there are things in this game you can earn, and there are things in this game you can buy. And it just makes it, quite clear. Gameplay is always available to players for just playing the game. In the Battle Pass, in both free and premium tiers, you can earn grind currency or premium currency. But in the store, that's where a place where you can spend your currency. You can buy cosmetics. And we just wanted that to be really clear. If we're going down that road, just be really clear with our players what they can expect.
Yeah, as we said, the Battle Pass, it's super full. We've got 100 tiers. We've got 30 in the free tier. Lots to do, lots to chase from all of that. But more importantly, Alexia, I know the Battle Pass is super close to your heart.
Mm-hmm. Not that I talk about it all the time.
Battle Passes, they're obviously a mainstay now across many different titles in the industry.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things that we can look at to learn from, to decide how it is we built ours. And we've obviously chosen our style of the way that our Battle Passes progressed. We've got a lot more challenges based in there that help to do it, and lots of different options. Mm-hmm. So you can pick your different styles as to how you rank up your Battle Pass. But how did we land on this design for it? What do we think that players are going to get most out of the process of actually ranking it up?
Sure. So with us, like the mantra when we've been developing this has always been very much player first. So when we first went away with Battle Pass and we decided how we wanted it to work and how we wanted it to play, the first iteration that we put into software and presented it to like the rest of the team and to kind of user testing feedback was, we don't really understand how this works. And that was a really big learning for us because it's such an integral part of Season 1. It's how you see all the new content, how you gain all the new content. And we wanted not only to make sure it was super clear and super readable, but also super fun and high quality. So we took it away and we sat down for ages. A few of us locked ourselves away in a room for about a week, back and forth, designing something new. And what we've landed on after ages and lots of kind of investigation into how different people have done it is something that we're super proud of and something that we think is going to be really exciting for players.
Yeah, and obviously we got the opportunity to sort of test challenges really with weekly missions, getting us from there to here. Like, were there lots of big learnings that you and the team took from deciding which missions we're going to put in each week to help players get to?
Yeah, absolutely. We found that the weekly missions were great for kind of bringing different playstyles back into the game. I remember reading Twitter a lot and seeing how people were like super happy that people were reviving and supporting each other a bit more. So we wanted to keep that going with the weekly missions. We wanted to get people playing with the new content. We wanted to get them thinking more about team play and thinking more about how they interact together. So we've done a lot to make sure that those weekly missions are fun, and some are quite challenging, and we want people to be able to work their way through the Battle Pass and kind of have fun whilst they're doing it.
But no matter which way you go for it challenge-wise, like if you pick a challenge of like, we've got this brand new gadget, the smoke grenade launchers coming into the game, so we now have the ability to sort of teach people about the smoke grenade launcher by having challenges such as revive in smoke. But if it is the case that players just want to progress by just playing, we always have that persistent challenge tied to XP, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. So you don't only earn Battle Pass points by completing weekly missions, although that obviously helps. You can also earn it just by gaining XP in the game. So if you went up for a specific challenge, you can still earn your Battle Pass points. Alongside that, we don't make it so you have to complete every single weekly mission. We give you a variety of missions that you can complete. So that definitely helps. You know, we're not going to force you, if you really hate playing with a sniper rifle, to play with a sniper rifle. But maybe you'll think of picking one up and trying it for the first time and actually find out you enjoy a different playstyle. So that's the hope.
I think we literally had one of our first sniper challenges a few weeks back. And all I did was I iron sighted the thing. I just ran around using it as a shotgun. I'm so sorry to everyone on my team because it was brutal from me. But hey, it got the job done. It got the job done. Well, of course, all of this that we've chatted about is live in the game today. Season 1 is, of course, out. Our new update is out. Do let us know what you think of it. But let's talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that's still to come in Season 1. Of course, it's a pretty big list for us. But, you know, things that we're kind of exploring. We have, of course, got new hardware that's coming into Portal. We are looking to restore some vehicles that we wanted to add in for Battlefield 3, such as we've got the A10 coming in, the Su-25 Frogfoot. We've got to Bad Company's collection, the Hind, the Bakcha. Player profile and stats, we're working on that one. We're going to have Rush featured quite heavily in Portal throughout this season with improvements and lessons we've learned from when we've had that previously in the game. And then, of course, much of what you've already heard about from the video we did previously with Ryan and Lars, which you can go and check out over on the Battlefield website. But let's talk about some of this then. Player profile, Alexia. Again, another thing that you and the team have been working on. This isn't something we had in at launch, but something that we're really, we're happy to bring back into the game. How's work going on that?
It's going really well. It was quite nice, actually. I saw it for the first time a few weeks ago and being able to see your stats, your player stats. I was a bit worried that my KDR was going to be shocking, and surprisingly, it's a lot better than I expected it to be, so I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, I think that's going to be a really welcome addition for players to be able to... There's a whole host of stats that you can check out and kind of see where you need to work towards your next rank and things like that. So also on the overview page shows all your mastery progression. So yeah, it's a really cool way to just get a snapshot of where you currently are in the game.
Because we have been tracking this stuff, haven't we? You have the data to put into it.
Yeah.
We're not starting from fresh with this. It's not as if we're going to turn this feature on and then you're at naught. Yeah,
no, you'll be able to see all your stats from launch, basically. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay. This is then really our first season. So what are we hoping players enjoy most about it? And, what are we looking to learn from this, Nika?
I think we are definitely hoping and expecting that players will enjoy all the new content in Season 1, that they will enjoy the Battle Pass, which is, it's the first Battle Pass for 2042. And also, I'm hoping that the players will see all the improvements that we are on the, I would say, love and the effort, in addition to the new content that we are putting into the game, to put it on the level that players want it and they deserve to have. So that's a place for me. That would be actually my expectation for the Season 1.
Yeah, there is stuff that we are looking at with this season, Ryan, that will help us to bring more and to do more improvements on this, this content package that we're building out per season for the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at things like, the improvements to Kaleidoscope as an example, right? I mean, the feedback from our players was clear from launch that the maps weren't what they expected. They weren't providing the gameplay or the fun that they wanted. So, the team did a lot of work to address that with the improvements that are coming to Kaleidoscope. I mean, that's a good example for us, is trying to improve that experience, and then take that feedback from that, and how do we get even better as we move forward? With the gunplay and the new weapons and the specialists. How does a new specialist interact with the existing group that we've got there? So I think a lot of these things are really going to help us build the game for the future, and really kind of help us learn as we go forward and take you into Season 2 and beyond.
How about you, Alexia? How are you feeling about this season? Excited to see how players get on with the systems and thinking about how we can make improvements in the future?
Yeah, really excited. And I think it's worth pointing out that we play this game every day. We've been looking at this season for months, and we know it really well, right? I've been excited for a really long time, and so it's so nice to finally be able to talk about it as well. But yeah, just the fact that we've been refining it, the fact that we've spent so much time really thinking about how to make it feel really high quality and enjoyable for players is something that I'm really proud of. So I hope everyone recognises that we've put a lot into this and have made it feel really great. So I hope everyone agrees. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
And we certainly hope you are having fun playing it, of course. If you are playing it this week, please do share your thoughts with us over on our social channels. Make sure you're following at Battlefield and at Battlefield.com if you want to stay up to date on all the latest ongoings for it. Of course, we've lots to help share and release throughout this season, both in terms of brand new experiences that will come into the game, as well as with new updates that we'll release throughout Season 1. But to stay up to date on all these things, do make sure you're following that. And if you haven't already, head on over to the Battlefield website, where you'll be able to catch up on all the Season 1 update notes, check through what's changed, what's new, and jump into the game. Let us know how you feel about it. If anything cool happens, more importantly, make sure you clip it and share it with us. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see how you're getting on with it. Well, Nika, Ryan, Alexia, thanks so much for helping to hang out with us today and share some insight into what it takes to bring a season to life for Battlefield. We sincerely hope you're going to have fun playing it. We look forward to sharing more about the season as we go through. But we hope to see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Seismic activity has damaged the Canadian-U.S. research facilities. A landslide exposed the interior, and enemy forces are being deployed to secure it.